Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Pure Soul. Today's DSA topic is on strings. Now let's understand what is string. A string is a collection of characters used to store and represent text. It can be a word, a name, or even a sentence. Now let's understand what is string in programming. A string is a collection of characters used to store and represent text. It can be a word, a name, or even a sentence. Now, in C, we use character arrays to handle strings, but in C++, we use string class, which is more powerful and easier to work with. In C++, string class requires a header file to be included in order to use the string class. In C, the character array declared with the name n with a size of 20. This means it can hold up to 19 characters plus the special null character at the end. If you accidentally go beyond the limit of 20 or x in your case, it can cause a memory error. Now the second initialization, where we have named our character array as greetings. Here we are letting the compiler automatically count the size, so the array will be of size 6, where 5 letters plus a null terminator at the end. This is safer but still limited and error prone, and the error which usually cause in these type of initializations are the buffer overflow error, where if we try to add new characters, let's say if we try to add x number of characters in an array that is already having a space of 6 characters, will cause a buffer overflow. That means we are trying to write into the memory that isn't allowed. Now the third initialization of a character array is by manually initializing each character. In that case, we have to include a special null character at the end manually. Whereas in the case of C++, by using string class, we have various initializations. At the first, we have an empty string with the name s1. At the second, we have a string named s2 where we have initialized it with hello C++ literal. In the third, we call the constructor of the string class and pass the string literal world in it. For the s4, we are copying the value of s2 into the s4, and this is how we can print our string class values. Like s2 and s3 will give an output of hello C++ and s3 will give an output of world. Now let's understand what is a null character. It is a special character that marks the end of a string. If not included in the function used in the C style strings, will start reading garbage values in the memory if we will not include this null character. Now, second question is, how are strings handled in C and what are the challenges? In C, strings are stored as array of characters with a null terminator at the end. Let's take an example. A string literal PREET assigned to a character array of size 6, where there are 5 characters plus a null character, in total a 6 size character array. Now the problem that we will face in these type of C style strings are, first, we have to manage the size ourselves. That means we have to manually allocate and deallocate the memory, else it will reach to a error or it will throw a garbage value to us. Second problem is the risk of buffer overflow, as I've already explained above. The third problem that arises is that no easy built-in functions. That means in order to calculate the length, compare and join two strings, we need big functions like string length, string compare, or string concatenate and various other operations. Hence, it is complex to use and solve problems. Now, the third question arises is that why do developers prefer strings in C++? For that, let's look at the benefit one by one. There is no need to define the size. You can just directly assign the value to the string. Second, it automatically handles memory. That means the program take care of allocating and deallocating of memory. The third benefit is that it has fast and easy to use built-in functions in order to calculate the length, to append to strings, or to compare to strings, and various other things. The fourth benefit is that it is safer and easier to use as it has a clean syntax. It is much more readable than handling the character arrays. Now let's compare C style strings and C++ strings using a feature by feature table. At the first feature, a null terminated. That means in C, strings must end with a null terminator. In C++, that isn't required because string class handles it internally. Second feature to compare is the dynamic resizing. That means in C, arrays are fixed. In C++, string grows or shrink based on your content. At the third comparison, easy concatenation. In C, joining two strings requires us to use a string cat function, whereas in strings, we can directly use a plus operator instead. Safe comparison. Same in C, we have to use a string compare, whereas in strings, we use double equal to, less than, greater than, not equal to, and various other operators to compare to strings. In case of memory management, in C requires a manual allocation and deallocation, whereas in strings it is automatically handled. Now, the last feature is that readability and syntax. In C, C style strings is more complex as it requires us to use big functions like these to perform small operations, whereas in C++ strings, it is more clean and modern as it uses small operators to perform the same operation. Now let's see the correspondence between the C library and the C++ string class. In C library function, to copy two strings, we have to use a string copy function, whereas in strings, we directly use the assignment operator. Now to concatenate two strings, we use string cat, whereas in C++ strings, we use plus equal to operator, and so on. For the length, we use string length, and in strings, we use dot size or dot length. Both will give the same output. Now let's see what we have learned in this video. First, we learned what is a string. A string is a collection of characters used to store and represent text. It can be a word, a name, or even a sentence. The second thing we learned, how does C handle strings? C uses character arrays with a null terminator at the end. And we have to manage the memory, handle comparison and operations manually. Third, we learn what makes C++ strings better. The C++ gives you a high-level string class that handles memory, resizing, and offers built-in functions. It reduces the boilerplate code and is much safer. Then we did a C versus C++ string comparison. That's it for the part 1 of our string in C and C++ series. In the next part, we will be covering C++ strings operations. Thank you so much for watching.